The movie opens with a woman named Michelle standing by her window, staring outside as she argues on the phone. Frustrated, she hurriedly packs her belongings and leaves her home. She drives far from the city, heading deep into a rural area. While on the road, her fiancé, Ben, calls. She answers but stays silent, letting him apologize and beg her not to leave. Without responding, she hangs up. When Ben calls again, Michelle glances at her phone for just a moment, right as a truck slams into her car, sending it rolling into a ditch. Michelle wakes up with a head wound in a small room, a needle in her arm hooked to a saline drip. To her shock, she realizes her leg is chained to a pipe. Desperate, she grabs a nearby pole and pulls her phone toward her, trying to call for help. But there's no signal. Moments later, the door creaks open, and a man named Howard steps inside. He calmly tells Michelle that he rescued her from the car accident and insists he's keeping her alive. Michelle takes a wooden pole and carves the tip into a sharp point. When Howard returns, she strikes him in the face and makes a desperate run for the door. However, Howard recovers quickly, grabs her, and sedates her before she can escape. When Michelle regains consciousness, Howard calmly tells her that a devastating attack has occurred on the surface, making the air unbreathable. He insists that he brought her down to the bunker beneath his farm to keep her safe. To prove his point, Howard leads Michelle to the airlock, allowing her to glimpse the outside world. Everything looks normal at first, until she notices his truck parked nearby, smeared with red paint. A chilling realization hits her. It's the same truck that crashed into her car. From the bedroom, Michelle hears a sudden clattering noise outside. Howard storms off, yelling at someone off-screen. Curious, she steps out of the room and discovers a younger man named Emmett, his arm visibly broken. Howard, now frustrated, explains that Emmett accidentally knocked over a shelf, spilling an entire week's supply of food. Emmett comes across as more friendly and approachable than Howard. He tells Michelle that he willingly helped Howard build the bunker and insists that the attack was real. Emmett describes seeing a sudden white flash before panicking and rushing inside for safety, a frantic escape that, according to him, resulted in his broken arm. Howard forces Michelle and Emmett to join him for dinner, insisting they act like a family. Michelle notices the airlock keys in his pocket and quickly starts thinking of a way to get them. She strikes up a light-hearted conversation with Emmett, her tone slightly flirty. This provokes Howard, who snaps angrily and warns them not to behave that way. While he's distracted, Michelle seizes the moment to snatch his keys. Just then, a rumbling noise echoes from above, momentarily diverting everyone's attention, giving Michelle the perfect chance to smash a beer bottle over Howard's head. Michelle rushes toward the airlock, quickly unlocking the door in her haste to escape. Standing at the threshold, she hesitates as Howard desperately pleads with her not to go out. On the other side of the glass, a woman stands, her skin grotesquely deformed from a terrible infection. She begs to be let inside, but Howard warns Michelle to keep her out. The woman's frustration grows, and she begins violently banging her head against the glass, her pleas turning into frantic desperation. Michelle starts to fear that Howard might be right, and she hesitates, listening to him now. Howard apologizes for how he treated her earlier, confessing that he had been the one who hit her car. He then looks at her, his face tense, and asks her to stitch up the wound on his head from the broken bottle. Over time, the trio grows closer, working together like a real family. Howard shares clothes that belong to his daughter Megan, whom he lost, and shows Michelle a picture of her. Meanwhile, the air filtration system fails, and Michelle is the only one small enough to crawl through the vents and reach the filtration room. After resetting the unit, she notices a ladder beneath a window leading outside. On the window, the word help is scratched into the glass, with the L and P stained in blood. On the floor, she spots two bloody earrings that she recognizes from the picture of Megan. Showing the photo to Emmett, he identifies the girl as Brittany, a girl from his high school who went missing some time ago. Realizing that Howard is a danger, they decide they need to escape. Michelle and Emmett secretly take Howard's tools, using them to construct a makeshift biohazard suit and gas mask. When Howard discovers the theft, he brings out a vat of perchloric acid to dissolve the tools. He then demands to know why they were trying to take his gun. Emmett steps forward and admits he did it so that Michelle would respect him the way she respects Howard. Howard forgives Emmett, only to suddenly shoot him in the head. As time goes on, Michelle completes the suit and attempts to escape. As she hears Emmett approaching her room, she quickly hides the suit under her bed. Emmett enters without suspicion, but just as he is about to leave, a screw from the loose air vent cover falls to the floor. Unaware of its significance, he tries to put it back but soon notices part of the suit hidden beneath her bed. He grabs her hair and shoves her against the wall before flipping the bed to reveal the entire suit. Michelle quickly dashes out and locks him inside the room, frantically searching for something to help her escape. Moments later, Emmett closes in on her. In a panic, she shoves the vat of acid toward him, causing him to slip and fall face first into it. She climbs over him and heads for the exit. The acid eats through an electrical wire, sparking a fire. Howard pursues Michelle, and she pushes a shelf on top of him. She then climbs into the vents, heading toward the filtration room. Howard stabs through the vents with a knife, grabbing Michelle as she reaches the end. She slams his hand hard enough for it to rip off. The fire spreads quickly through the bunker. Michelle puts on the suit and gas mask, as she struggles to make her escape outside. Once again, everything is calm. She rushes to Howard's truck, searching for anything useful when a sharp object suddenly pierces her suit. Panicked, she quickly seals the tear with tape, fearing the toxic gas. Looking up, Michelle spots birds soaring through the sky. To her surprise, she removes her mask. Nothing happens. Tears stream down her face. She then climbed Howard's truck. She notices what appears to be a helicopter in the distance. But it's not. It's a massive alien hovercraft. Suddenly, the bunker explodes, drawing the craft toward the blast site. Panicked, Michelle sprints to a small car, frantically trying to open the doors. But they're locked, and the alarm blares. She dashes to the barn, where she finds the body of the infected woman from before. Peering through the cracks, she spots a worm-like creature, drawn to the alarm, slithering around the car. Once it disappears, she snatches the car keys from the woman's body and bolts toward a house, shouting for help. The massive alien hovercraft swiftly returns, releasing a cloud of green toxic gas over the area. Michelle rushes back to the truck, scrambling to put on her mask before the gas can reach her. After the gas has settled, the creature lunges after Michelle, trapping her inside the truck. As the alien craft hovers closer, it lifts the truck toward its gaping mouth. Thinking fast, Michelle grabs a magazine, a lighter, and a wine bottle, quickly assembling a Molotov cocktail. She ignites it and hurls it into the creature's mouth. Flames erupt, and the creature screeches in agony before dropping the truck. Moments later, it explodes in a fiery blast, sending debris flying across the area. Michelle drives away for good, accidentally hitting Howard's mailbox, which reads 10 Cloverfield Lane. She turns on the radio and hears a broadcast stating that anyone seeking refuge from the attacks can go to Baton Rouge, while those with combat or medical expertise are needed in Houston. As she approaches a road sign directing travelers straight to Baton Rouge or left to Houston, she makes her decision. She turns left. As she drives, a flash of lightning reveals a massive alien hovercraft lurking in the storm clouds above.